whole philosophy in 3 words. Tat Tvam Asi. You are that. We are back, baby, with another reflection on the Daily Vedantic. Today's episode is chapter 10 of the Gita, continuing our series of the world's most famous poem. Chapter 10 is the yoga of supreme manifestation. And this chapter gets into all of the wild, infinite ways in which the Supreme reveals itself to us. It's through the mouthpiece of Krishna, but Krishna, who is the charioteer in this dialogue, is just a symbolic embodiment of God. And chapter 10 is the divine revealing itself through everything that we perceive. In a logical equation, it would be that if the divine is the supreme God, is infinite, the infinite of infinites, then there isn't anything by definition. It's just logic. This isn't philosophy or religion. If it is the infinite of infinites, then there is nothing that isn't the divine, that isn't God. It can't stop where our skin starts. It can't stop where a chair or a table starts and a table begins. It, by definition, is in everything. And by definition, everything is made of God stuff, God substance. There is only God substance. And that directionally is what Krishna is pointing to in this chapter on the supreme manifestation. Everything we're seeing is a manifestation of the divine. What this philosophy does in our practical daily living is that it divinizes humanity, saying that spouse, that child, that parent that you have so much trouble talking to, that coworker that might annoy you, that spouse that you love because of what they do for you, should be divinized, is the divine deep down. It also humanizes the divine. This unmanifested aspect of the cosmos, the divine, is not something that is, even how I just pointed my hands right there, isn't something that's up there. It is in all of us. It is all of us. That thou art. You are that. Whole philosophy in 3 words. Tat Tvam Asi. You are that. And this chapter is a reminder to Archana, it's a reminder to all of us that everything you interact with, this camera that I'm looking at, the voice that you're hearing, the person that you are going to meet later today, Krishna is saying is the divine. That is the supreme manifested. This entire experience is the supreme manifested. And this is reinforced in verse 20. This is nailed. The anchor of this chapter, in many ways, is verse 20. I am the self, O Arjuna, seated in the heart of all beings. I am the beginning, the middle, and also the end of all beings. The Alpha and Omega. Where have we heard this type of language before? Well, 500 years later, Christ would use very similar language when he would say, I am the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning and end. The divinized approach of humanity is that interpretation, is that it is not this Jesus figure saying that. It's God. Similarly, the belief within Advaita Vedanta is that this isn't a charioteer saying this, isn't a famous prince saying this. It is the divine saying, I am the capital S self. I am the divine. And maybe it comes through a mouthpiece that is a realized soul, a figure in Krishna. In the same way, the words that come through my body, my mouth, I am still suffering from a cold right now. That's not my mouth saying, my mouth is actually quite healthy right now. It's not my throat. You used to have a sore throat. It's coming from somewhere at the center of this body that is saying, I'm suffering with a cold right now. It is not the tongue. It's not the mouth. It's not the throat. It's not the vocal cords. That is just an amplifier to a message, the same way the speaker has a diaphragm. The music is not coming from the speaker. You hear the music through the speaker. The music is coming from a signal into the speaker. Similarly, when we're dealing with self-realized souls, they are speakers. The diaphragm of that speaker is reverberating, resonating, sending a vibrational message that actually has very little to do with that speaker. Very little to do with Krishna, very little to do with this Jesus character, and everything to do with where is this signal coming from? That is the divine. I am the self, O Arjuna, seated in the heart of all beings. I am the beginning, the middle, and also the end of all beings. One hell of a way to reintroduce yourself to a childhood friend. And one hell of a way to get the ear of that childhood friend that may have just thought you were a buddy, a really smart, capable charioteer. This gets Arjuna's attention. This gets all of our attention for what is to come, the rest of the Gita. And that is today's reflection on the daily Vedantic. Tomorrow we dive into chapter 11. We'll see you then.